Good morning. Welcome to Rise and Shine Thursday edition. Of course, the fourth day in the month of August 2022. And it's already Thursday. I was talking to someone yesterday and I was saying, the week just went very, very fast. And before you know it, we're on Friday. Anyways, good morning. And we're officially welcoming you to the show this morning. My name is Janice Kovo. Welcome.
Yes, and my name is Ifeanyi, and it's a beautiful morning to be here again. Like Janice said, it's already Thursday. The world seems to be getting faster. I hope we are living as very deliberate people every day that we are here. So yes, it's Rise and Shine. We're coming to you live from the very beautiful hills of Ibiakura, and it's going to be a really good morning with, topical issues around the nation. Thanks for joining us.
And talking about the weather, I don't know, there was some kind of news about people getting very cold, more like the earth is a little bit distant from the sun. I don't know what that exactly means, but more like a warning to people. Okay, so this time around, you're going to be experiencing a little bit more cold.
Yeah.
So you just have to be taking vitamins, stay hydrated, and all of that. I don't know. Have you started feeling that kind of cold?
Well, since I saw the news yesterday, I tried as much as possible to observe.
Okay.
But it was pretty much a normal weather last night. Yeah. But we know that sometimes when this information comes, it starts more in some of the countries before it reaches some of the sub-Saharan nations. So yes, it might be a thing that will be widespread, but maybe not just here yet, and might not even reach us as a people. But nonetheless, it's important for us to, beef up our intake of vitamins, wear the appropriate clothes as much as possible, stay hydrated. Of course, they also said avoid lots of cold and freezy drinks and water, of course. Just take care of yourself, nonetheless.
Yeah, take care of yourself.
But if it's with regards to the change in the fact that the days are becoming shorter and faster, that's been a thing. I remember like it was 2 weeks ago that we commended, and I've, as of yesterday, I read a lot of reports as to the fact that that's been happening globally. Okay. It's not just a thing. It's not just something you're thinking about. It's actually something that's actually happening. Yeah. So it just calls for a lot more deliberateness. Of course, no fear, but be a little more deliberate.
No, it doesn't call for any kind of fear at all. I just feel that it's the normal, the changes in, how do I put it now? The changes in days, because I know that there are sometimes you experience short nights and short days, and then sometimes you experience longer days and shorter nights. So there are like little changes like that.
This more like shorter days, shorter nights.
This one is more like shorter days, shorter night, and stuff like that. But it's okay. Obviously, you just have to do what you have to do, and like they say, time waits for nobody. So let's make sure that we do the things we need to do pretty fast, considering time as well. Let's start with some of the trending issues or trending conversations, in Nigeria today. Some days ago, we told you about the fact that two Nollywood actors have been kidnapped, and it just added to the list of the people that have been kidnapped from the Nollywood industry. And I remember also that we had the president of Actors Guild Nigeria, Emeka Rollers, on the show virtually to talk about these things. And I remember also that he said that some millions were being mentioned as ransom payments for the release of these two actors. And he also said that more like it wasn't like targeted against them. It's just that they ran into these people and they decided to just make some, cash cow out of them. But the good news today is that the two actors have been released. We saw that information from Mona Lisa Chinda, who is more like the secretary to the Actors Guild. And we really applaud the Actors Guild for doing everything possible to make sure that they seek the release of these two people. Of course, they're veteran actors, giving us the much entertainment that we desire as Nigerians. And to see that they have been released, I think it's very commendable. We thank God also that they have been released and they are hale and hearty. It's just that definitely if you come out from the dungeons of kidnappers like that, it's very necessary for you to go for medical checks to make sure that you're okay. But again, depending on what they went through, they have to be living with the trauma for a long time, or maybe they just have to look for a way, to come out from such trauma. But I know that it's a very traumatizing experience for anybody to be caught in that particular dungeon by kidnappers. It's not funny at all. Taking you away from your freedom, taking you away from your family and loved ones, and you not even knowing if you're going to come out alive from that particular incident. We thank God that life and they have been released as well from the dungeons of kidnappers. Of course, that's the press release there by Mona Lisa Chinda, who is the secretary to the Actors Guild of Nigeria. Yeah,
Yeah, Cynthia Kereke and Clemson Agbogidi,
Yeah.
have been released, and thankfully they were actually released without the pay of any ransom. The kidnappers had actually asked for $1,000 US dollars, and of course everybody was wondering where that money was going to come from. But thankfully, the duo have been released without any payments made whatsoever. And of course, on behalf of the families of the two actors, the Actors Guild of Nigeria has come to tell us they've been released, and of course, in good health. Hopefully they can go through a little bit of therapy to just unwind the experience. But it's good news. It's good news that the prayers and the hope that everyone had nationwide has actually paid off.
Yeah, definitely. And if you say that, they have been released, that's the information given though. But again, they won't come out to say that so much was paid on their behalf and all of that. But we thank God that they have actually been released and reunited with their family again. Anyways, we'll move away from there now and talk about something that is also trending and worthy of note. Of course, it has gotten a lot of Nigerians talking, and that is the story of an alumni in the University of Ibadan who is trending for the right reasons. Now, Philip Ozwa, who is the president and CEO of Montefiore Medicine in New York, is trending in Nigeria for a good cause, following his donation of a whopping $1 million to his alma mater, the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan. Now, according to him, the University of Ibadan's Medical College shaped and refined him into the man he is today. So he has the duty to give back to the school. Of course, there was a clarion call of all members of the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan Alumni Association to join the university in partnership to strengthen and scale up the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan due to the deplorable condition of their infrastructure. Now, again, the Anambra-born Ozua earned his medical degree from the University of Ibadan and had his internship at the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital in Nsukka. He then left Nigeria for a master's degree in education from the University of Southern California and a PhD in educational leadership and administration from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. He completed his pediatric internship and residency at Albert Einstein College of Medicine, Montefiore, and his postdoctoral fellowship at the University of Southern California School of Medicine. Quite commendable, I must say. And of course, so much has been happening in the University of Ibadan. It just brings to mind, what is happening in ASU in terms of the strike between, the strike ASU is ongoing, talking about revitalization funds for universities. And it shows that, yes, our, Nigerian universities are in a very deplorable state in terms of infrastructure and other things. And to see that one person donated that much money, $100 million, which is almost about 700 million naira to the school, it's quite commendable. And more like we begin to look towards alumni associations, that they can actually step in to wade into the problem of some of these institutions today. Now, we are talking about $1 million. That's pretty much, for a university. I know that there was more like a clarion call. Okay, so all alumni, please come and partner with us. We need to do this for the medical college in the University of Ibadan. We need to do that. I know that in the course of that call, they had some other donations being brought in. Some people donated 200,000 depending on their capacity. But for Ozwa, it was quite a jaw-dropping when he said his donation was going to be $100 million.
Well, of course, those are things that we get to see every now and then. People turn out differently, and then their heart for the job is also different. He has that much, and it's just good to see that he has a good heart to want to give back. But I think my attention is on the fact that this is something that can also be done for the university structure in Nigeria. If we have people that have passed from these schools when they were in their full glory, for instance, UI is one of those schools that stands the tallest. When you talk about the people that the University of Ibadan has churned out, it is one of the glorious universities of Nigeria. So if we have some of these great names across the world that went to schools in these prestigious universities, we can see that we have a failing government with regards to infrastructure in universities. I believe that some of the billionaires and millionaires that we have that pass through the schools can do more. Of course, several of them run foundations and other things where they spend money. So it's just good that a clarion call could have been made by an alumni body, say let's give back to our universities. And if we have more alumni bodies do this, it's easier for you to move the school forward, even move your department forward, because when you bring the money yourselves, you are going to effectively watch to make sure that the purpose for which those monies were donated are effectively carried out. So I just believe that this is a really commendable move by Dr. Ozwa. And of course, like I've already said, if they watch to make sure that that money is put in the right place, then I mean, in the next couple of months, you're going to see that the College of Medicine in University of Ibadan is going to come out, different. 700 million is a lot of money. That's coming from one person, aside the other thousands and millions that are going to be, donated by other members of the alumni body. So it's a really good way to step in and help some of the very decaying situations in our schools. It might not ameliorate a lot of the problems, but it could help to a very large extent. It may not even come near to scratching the needs of the lecturers themselves, but let's look at how more alumni could work towards the development of infrastructure and research materials, resources for research and all of those things. I believe it will go a very long way.
Yeah, definitely it will go a long way. But when you say that, it's good that, we get alumni who come in to kind of help out in the deplorable situations of the universities they actually graduated from. But it leaves me wondering, then what if this happens all the time, which I know it does sometimes, okay? But if this happens all of the time, what will then the government be doing? Because these are universities owned by government. Why would they leave the situation for private individuals to begin to want to come to help? Well, so it also has a kind of effect that it will be having, in terms of government funding these universities properly. And then I know that some people have also said, okay, so if somebody like Ozua can give 1 million US dollars to the infrastructure in the Medical College of University of Ibadan, then we should have more people, more private individuals, more alumni groups come in, to donate to even solve the problems of ASU. So when we begin to shift the responsibility of government totally to private individuals, then it becomes a problem.
Calling them to solve the problem of ASU is not sustainable. It's not even something that is realistic. You can't ask that of private individuals, except they're coming into partnership with the government. And that's something that ought to be done on free volition. No one can coerce them into doing it. But saying that they could help with infrastructure does not take away the responsibility of government. Because, I mean, look at what's the number of universities that we have scattered across the nation? Alma maters, alumni bodies can take care of all of that. It's just a fraction. So we're saying that in the face
of course they do take care of that.
They do take care, yes.
Even right to secondary schools. I've seen alma maters, building classroom blocks, bringing in, desk for
I think it's just an effective way in the face of the kind of government that we have. I think it's something that is reasonable to do so that we do not raise young people that cannot give back to the society. They had some form of quality education, but these kinds of step will help us, further make sure that the people coming up after us still have, some form of quality education.
But again, when you talk about alma maters and their unions or their groups, coming in to wade into the matter of their universities, you begin to wonder how many of them are even doing well enough
Yeah,
to be able,
of course.
to give back to the society. So
That's
not all of
realistic,
them,
yeah.
because even the society in itself, it's a dwindling factor, to why some of them are not doing well. So you just have a handful of them,
Yeah.
doing those things. And again, of course, we know about the human factor. It's not everybody that's is in the spirit of giving, just like Oswald did, giving a whooping $1 million. It's not everybody that would do that, even if they have the money all stashed up somewhere.
That's true.
It's not everybody that would do that. And then you also talked about the deplorable state of the University of Ibadan. It was more like a citadel of excellence at some point, with good infrastructures and everything. It was more like a model to other universities. But today it is even very surprising that at some point they had to say that for electricity in the University of Ibadan Teaching Hospital, that patients will have to be paying 1,000 naira to even get fuel or diesel to use in running the university teaching hospital. It's quite pathetic. It just brings out, the ineptitude of government towards some of these things.
Yeah, that's true. But at this point, we're going to move to our very next conversation. A lot has been happening in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. And at this point, we have a guest who's going to be joining us, Dr. Getso. He'll be joining us from Abuja to give us an update of, the security situation in Abuja. He's on standby. Good morning, Dr. Getso.
Good morning. How are you?
Very fine, thank you. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so how are things? How are things at the moment in Abuja?
Well, the situation in Abuja remains pathetic, difficult, disappointing, disgracing, embarrassing. But we're having some level of hope to some extent, whereby the president yesterday have given instruction to the military to go into the forest and to reach out to reach to where the criminals are, so that they can deal with them decisively, irrespective of any complaint or whatever from the international community, or rather, what do you call it? Or rather the human rights activists, either local and or international or regional or whatever. So this is quite encouraging. There was attack on the AIG Zone 12 of Bauchi, Madaki, on his in part of Kaduna State environs, or part of Kaduna State belts that link up, that have a connection between the Plateau State, Nasarawa State, and that of Kaduna State, on his way from Bauchi, where his orderly was shot dead. The driver was brutally wounded, as well as the AIG himself also was wounded. It has been mentioned by the authority that he is receiving medical attention somewhere else, unknown, at an unknown location within the jurisdiction, within the area of his geographical coverage. That is the Zone 12 area. So, which means he is not in Abuja. He might have been taken back to either Plateau, Bauchi, Gombe, or one of the states around his territorial jurisdiction. At the same time, um, the Minister of FCT have given a brief, a kind of after action review, or after the meeting yesterday. Federal Executive Council have given approval of a certain billions of naira in respect of procurement and purchase of some intelligent vehicles, armored communication armories, armaments, gadgets, I mean, and other vehicles, armed vehicles that will help in protecting, that will be monitoring the Abuja and its environment. And at the same time, day before yesterday, we also heard from the minister that there is going to be a kind of G7 meeting, where all the 7 states, 6 states neighboring Abuja, including the Abuja, will have a meeting all the commissioners of police and all the security stakeholders, all the security chiefs in respect from this respective state will come together in order to sit down and discuss and strategically design a way forward in order to build kind of machineries or operational strategy that will help in deterring and reaching out to the criminals' hideouts in order to deal with them accordingly.
Okay. So
And so the meeting was summoned, an emergency meeting was summoned, where all the emirs from the FCT and all the security chiefs, the commissioner of police, the AIG representing the central zone, as well as the other stakeholders from the FCT were summoned, and a closed door meeting was discussed, and that was the outcome of it. So we are hoping, because the president had been given many instructions. There was a time when he sent an inspector general of police to Nasarawa State. After about 19 days, he was asking whether the IG have brought him a feedback, have given him a feedback or not. That I have forgotten if at all the IG have come. We also saw an instruction where the president gave instruction for anybody who is cited with AK-47 to be shot. But we have seen so many people with AK-47, and the letter we even had a lot of about three major embarrassments and a kind of a diplomatic slap. That is the Kannywood activity at Kuje jail, and that is Kuje jailbreak. The attack on Brigade of Guard at Buari, as well as the ambush and attack on the military checkpoint at the entry of Abuja within less than almost 3 to 7 kilometers, we can say. So we are still waiting to see and to ascertain whether the instruction from the president or whether the directive given by the president will be respected now, because there were many directives that were given. And coupled with a lot of corrupt attitude and corruption that have been bedeviling the effort of fighting the insecurity in by the Buhari administration, we are not sure yet if at all the billions of naira that have been approved and which will be released within a couple of days, and as mentioned by the FCT minister after the Federal Executive Council meeting, that the money, the procurement process, including the arrival of the procured goods, will be within 2 months. So we are not sure whether it will be a successful or a failure, because we have seen so many procurement activities that have been conducted. We can remember, we can quickly make a reference to the fact that former Chief of Army Staff who lost his life in the plane crash made mention to the when he was summoned by the Senate Committee on Military, when he was asked, when he brought a report of a certain expenditure, when he was asked about to respond to some of the procurement that had been made in the report, where he made mention three things which we are still referring, and we are yet to have any feedback from the government or any other agency, where he responded to them. You know who you gave your money, you know how much you gave them, they are in my office, you know them, go and call them to answer your questions. So up till now, we have not seen any proven evidence that will serve kind of maybe an arrest, suspension, dismissal, demotion, or any act that will help and boost the morale of other personnel and to ensure that really the government is serious, so that even this billion that have been approved for the procurement of armament and gadgets and other armored vehicles that will help in protecting all areas of Abuja and environment, we are not sure if at all it is going to be utilized accordingly. We have also witnessed the Minister of Finance, Zainab Shamsuna, at a time when the military challenged that the authority refused to give them the approved money, whereby she made a presentation before the Senate Committee on military also, where about 2 trillion or thereby was released in less than in less than 2 months, or around 2 months or thereby. And also a statement created to the National Security Advisor that a huge amount of money had been released in respect to purchase of armament, capacity building, training and retraining, and purchase of modern techniques and modern skills. But yet, I don't know where the money is. I have not seen the armament or the gadget, neither the training This statement was credited to National Security Advisor through the BBC Hausa, which he was not under duress. He made the statement in at a leisure, a kind of providing a feedback. So we
Okay,
cannot
Dr.
ascertain if
Getsu.
at all this money will going to be utilized going by these references. Thank you.
Dr. Getsu. Okay, so in the past couple of weeks, I think last week or so, the president had an emergency meeting with security chiefs in the country. And just yesterday as well, we heard that there was also another security meeting with the security chiefs. And in between that, we also saw the attack on an AIG that was on his way to Abuja. His orderly was killed and he was badly injured alongside another policeman. Would you say that with all the security meetings that the government has been having since last week, it is enough to make the residents of Abuja less apprehensive?
Well, actually, the residents of Abuja have lost the confidence on the government of Muhammadu Buhari, and the government can only prove itself. Because if you know all the areas where we used to experience difficult traffic, that of Okubwa along Zuba, and that of Yanya Maraba Karo side and along airport, the level, the magnitude, or the level of at which we were experiencing the traffic is really reducing. And even when you look around within the city, you will see that not everybody is really coming out. And usually you see by sometimes by 6, 7, 8, you start to see the roads being, people are really scared. People are no longer comfortable. And if there will be attack on military formations, if there will be attack on a brigade of guard who are responsible, because I want people to understand, brigade of guard are not responsible for the kind of security of the president, but rather they are responsible for the security of the seat of the government. That is the Federal Capital Territory entirely. So they are expected to man and manage and ensure security and safety of lives and property in all parts of the FCT, whereby the president has his own separate details who are providing security and safety for him as a person in bracket, and then by extension extending the same vernacular of the security to his immediate family as well as others. So actually the resident of Abuja cannot be comfortable for now until and unless maybe within a couple of weeks, if government proved what it have been made, the statement that have been coming out of the 3 meetings. The first meeting after the Buhari attack on the Brigade of Guard, where 3 lieutenant was killed and 2 others, even though the information we are getting is not really clear, because it is saying that government is not really bringing the correct information. The military is not giving, many other military personnel were killed, not only 3 as mentioned. So, and then the second meeting that was held day before yesterday, as well as at the time when the president was receiving one of the diplomats, and he made mention, he has given that instruction, which I have clearly stated. So the residents of FCT are not and cannot be convinced, cannot be comfortable that really government is serious, because there are a lot of so many things that happened. And what we normally hear from the president is, I will ensure, I will ensure, I will ensure. So we don't know really when the government, when the Buhari will ensure, and what the meaning of that ensure. So what Nigerians and residents of FCT can only be convinced and accept the ensure if it is translated into practice. Nobody want to hear any story.
All right,
And we
let me
believe
ask a
that
question.
these criminals are known, their locations are known, their hideouts, even in FCT, are known. Because I have been shouting, and I have made mention, had a lot of national and international discussions with local and international media. I mean, where I expose and explain and describe some of the locations, some of the hideouts of the criminals in the areas of Gwagwalada, in the areas of Karshi, in the areas of Abaji, in the areas of Abaji, neighboring Nasarawa State, that is Nasarawa Total Local Government in Nasarawa State, and that of Abaji in the areas of Robochi, in the
Okay, sir.
areas of
Don't forget
Orozo,
to.
in Amak, as well as other areas in Buari, and the neighborhood of FCT with Niger State in the areas of Tapa, in the areas of Sabon Wuse, in the areas of Duko, and in the
Wow,
areas of
that's a lot of
and that of
locations.
Kaduna State, Abuja and Niger State, in the areas of Buari, where the
Okay.
recent attack held. And I believe I have made mention, I have given so many evidence facts since the year 2017, 2018,
Okay,
2019.
Dr. Getso.
So many discussions and
Hello,
interviews
sir.
with
Can you
some of the
hear
people
me?
who check the intelligence very well. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Dr. Getso. In recent times, we saw that in the red chambers, the members of parliament of the opposition party actually moved in an uproar, asking that the president be impeached if the security situation in Nigeria, is not looked into. And he was given a 2-week ultimatum. What do you have to say about this? Do you think it's a good move by the members of the red chamber? And of course, we already saw that the move was already, overturned by the head of the house. So what do you say about that?
Well, I condemn in totality the deceit, because why I call it the deceit. You know, when you have a sheet, when you have a sheet in part of your body, you cannot take a toilet paper and say, let me try and clean the sheet on the other person. Are they really responsible? Those senators of the People Democratic Party and almost all the senators in the red chamber, what have they been doing? How many attacks have been launched? How many insecurity incidences were recorded in the last 7 years that they have been in the red chamber? What action have they taken when the Minister of Finance gave them a feedback of the given amount that was a certain amount in trillion that was given to the military? What was the action taken by the red chamber when the National Security Advisor made a statement that a trillion of US dollars was given for procurement and purchase and supply of armament, capacity building, and other related matters? What have they done to that? And what action have they taken when thousands of people and hundreds are being killed in the areas of northeast, northwest, north central, south, southwest, and southeast? What action have they taken when the administration deceived Nigerians that it has procured 12 Tucano fighter jets, and yet these 12 fighter jets that have been brought into the country have not been utilized? And how many ambushed against our agile and military have happened? And yet, the same Senate have been given approval for trillions and billions of US dollars in purchase of armament, in respect of procurement of intelligence equipment, capacity building, training and retraining, purchase of whatever ABCDEFG. Have they ever approved any of the procurement process? And how many actions have the president taken or refused to take? And they have not made any attempt to tell Nigerians that we are really serious. They could have, some of them could have even tell their constituencies that I can no longer be in the red chamber because the president is not ready to listen to me. They are not realistic, they are not honest, they are not faithful, they are not sincere. You know, we have made mention
So
very
there's
clear
no
that
need at
we
all. There's
supposed to
no
be
need at
faithful,
all.
loyal,
From
and
what you're
honest.
saying,
But are they?
Dr. Getzel, there is absolutely no need for the red chamber to stage a workout or call for the impeachment of the president.
Absolutely, it is not. This is not the
Okay,
right
let's
time.
move away from that very quickly now to something else as we wrap up this conversation now. The NBC recently released a press statement saying that they are going to fine a cable television and also a particular online TV the fine of 50 million naira for doing a documentary exposing the insurgency situation in the country. What do you think about this action from the NBC? Because it's causing a lot of uproar in the country.
Yeah, I think I read yesterday on one of the platform, and I had a discussion with some of the personnel of one of the cable network, as well as the Trust TV, whereby 5 million. It was 5 million, not really 50 million.
Okay,
And
5 million. Thank you.
the fine notice had been submitted, and the station made mention, the Trust TV, as reported by Punch newspaper yesterday, that they are reviewing and kind of looking into the submission or the fine notice that have been submitted. Well, I think the reason is government refused to do what it's supposed to do, and I think public deserve to have information, and there is it's not, of course, what the government is trying to prevent is the situation whereby a platform is given to the terrorists. So the government is seeing this as a slap to it. So obviously, as far as I'm concerned, government need to look at between the back end and the front end and rally round to see a way forward so that there is need to extract information from these bandits, from these criminals, from the ISWAP, from the Boko Haram, from the ESN, and whosoever, whatever criminality you have. Because if you cannot have system that will conduct a root cause analysis or reach out to them, how do you dialogue with the situation? How do you know the magnitude, the capacity of these guys? Because as far as I'm concerned, that interview that was conducted, that is the one led by the BBC, as well as the I'm the Bandit by the Trust TV, have exposed some of the comment and kind of responses I have been making based on the investigations that I have participated severally, because I have been into the forest camps and into the terrorist camp in the areas of the ESN, the ISWAP, the Boko Haram, and the bandits and the kidnappers. And I have brought about a number of feedback to the government through national and international media. And I have been waiting to see the government really being serious about it, but yet the government was really being so careless. And there are a lot of intelligence that have been provided, not only on this, but many times, but yet the government have not been doing what it's supposed to do. And it is because the government refused to take its own constitutional responsibility. That is why the media had to do what it's supposed to do. And I believe it's part of the responsibility of the government, of the media, to kind of conduct investigative journalism. And yeah, that is 5 million, and the BBC and the Trust TV. So whichever way, what we expect to have is for government to have a kind of an organized system of dialogue where the agencies of government, the private institutions, inclusive of the media organizations, will sit down and kind of look into the issues and review it accordingly and do the needful. But
All
I
right,
don't
sir.
think finding the institutions is right. It's not coming at the right time, and it's not doing the right thing, and I condemn it in totality.
Okay, we've been talking to Dr. Yahuza Getso, who's a security and intelligence and investigative expert. He has been speaking to us this morning, giving us updates on the security situation in the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria, Abuja. Thank you very much, Dr. Yahuza Getso, for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you for having me. It's been a great time. Thank you, viewers. Goodbye.
Goodbye,
right,
sir.
goodbye,
Thank you.
sir.
We appreciate your time. Yeah.
Situation. Of course, we just hope that all the security meetings that has been held in recent times with all the security chiefs will just bring some kind of very concrete results. I think right now Nigerians wants to see results and not just all the talks and all the meetings that are being held right now, because if bandits are holding to siege a place like the Federal Capital Territory, then I wonder where exactly is safe. Of course, we had the story of the AIG, who was shot yesterday, and his orderly being killed, and of course another policeman being injured in that particular attack. So we want to see more results and not just security meetings with security chiefs. Anyways, we'll go away from that now and go straight to the desk for a news brief, and then when we come back, of course, we have very interesting conversations we'll be having on Rise and Shine Thursday edition. Don't go away, just stay with us.
a knowledge of global businesses, economic activities, a new wave of the stock market, forex market, cryptocurrencies, and NFTs create new dynamics towards emerging market millionaires and billionaires. From the dot-com era to the oil booms, the fundamental news drives the market. This is Business 360, taking you to the business around the globe. Join us from 11:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. weekdays, exclusive on Spectrum Television. Business 360, your prism to world businesses.
Nigerian police force, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police power with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
As of government, Secretary General, delegates.
This was the Lagos Nigerian for Spectrum TV to recover 45 seats to counting.
Good morning. This is your morning news brief on Spectrum live from Uyo. I am Uyai Anekan. We begin with the federal government as it has described Attack on the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 12, Bauchi, Aldo Medaki, as an attempt at making a psychological point by terrorists. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, who was briefing reporters after the week's Federal Executive Council meeting, also assured Nigerians that the government was taking security issues seriously. Meanwhile, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, is reassuring Nigerians and the global community of free and fair general elections in 2023. Mohammed gave the assurance while briefing newsmen at the end of the virtual meeting of the Federal Executive Council. In the meantime, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, says the military is implementing new strategies to end insecurity in Nigeria. Irabo, who was delivering a lecture at the National Defense College in Abuja, said the military was working to upgrade intelligence management procedures of the defense and security sector to strengthen the overall security architecture in the country. In the Federal Capital Territory, police have commenced raids on unattended bushes and abandoned structures within the city centers and suburbs, debunking reports about the existence of kidnappers' hideouts within the FCT. The police spokesperson, Josephine Ade, assured residents of heavy visibility policing in the coming days. In a separate development, International Press Center has expressed disappointment with the National Broadcasting Commission over the 5 million naira fine slammed on Trust Television Network after a documentary on the state of insecurity in the country titled Nigeria's Banditry, The Inside Story. In a statement by its press freedom officer Melody Lawal, the center described the imposition as an arbitrary fine. Away from that, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has declared social media celebrity Ismaila Mustafa, known as Mofa, wanted. This comes after Justice Mojisola Dada of Ikeja Special Offences Court issued a bench warrant for Mofa's arrest following his absence in court and revoked the bail that was granted him. We move now to the foreign scene, where the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is planning to launch a fact-finding mission into an attack in the frontline Ukrainian town of Olvenka that killed prisoners held by Moscow's backed separatists. Guterres told reporters that Russia and Ukraine had requested an investigation, while the terms of reference for the mission, which would need both countries' agreement, were being prepared. And finally, in sports, Manchester United have held initial talks with RB Shelburg over the signing of striker Benjamin Sesko. The discussion reportedly highlights a gap in valuation for the 19-year-old, and United are deciding whether to pursue a deal. We'll have details of the stories and more in our news at 12. I am Uyai Anyeken. We head back now to the Rise and Shine crew to stay with us.
Government, Secretary General,
This was the Lagos Nigeria for Spectrum TV to recover from the lapses in counting.
Good road infrastructure is a basic amenity that every society needs to run and sustain its daily activities, including growing and sustaining its economy. The people of Ikadosien village in Ibesipo expressed difficulty in a number of issues hampering their livelihood as a community. Speaking with Spectrum Television, the village head, Etidon Okonasukwa, expressed some of the difficulties that they have with the roads.
Any successful government and the only route leading to no circles, which is not that. Only route, Ikadosien Uran road, Ikadosien to Bang road. Being a game, and I'm going on in a reward. I can't do it for good and you something you what? I won't go no government really cook you want to
The people of Ikotokobo are mostly farmers. They major in the farming of crops such as okra, pepper, palm oil processing, as well as fishing. The road, according to the indigents, has remained inaccessible for years. Reports say that the road was later awarded to Hense Construction in 2019. The indigents stressed that the condition of the road has made the movement of farm produce to the markets very challenging. They also complain that their products are wasted during rainy seasons because they do not have access to channel them to the market.
I mean, get the Jacob one. Franyin, a freven Franyin, a gonkusang. Uquarm is a kibami. A bow my ready go quorum, a better urusang. A can is on your bed. Nta to go yorami ana more ready. Edi ne wana menyen frem. So mbok imisunu yo igbe governor nyin. Ibo mbok. Ya mo sunu wami no nyin. Kusanga do mfra nyin eti. Usanga na mkpo uru anyin. Amadi ku iyak. Ini esuto iyak afogbe yem aru kete. Berefrero in yini uru asinyam because of usang.
Akpan bor usang me. Usanga mi aba freke sem ko nyina tak. Usang iba. Iko fong iba isa ki kami kayam ko mi. Yen tak mban bat. Tunwang baro ma ko won tak po usanga ba. Kusang nyini ni mi a link usanga sanga ke kai pe koronkun. Ake link igwere junction. Ikpe aruchuku road. Nyini mini junction do. But tongron din di voice di banja mban bat asina fonge baiba machine wata enango kwa wata awa kokot mbok ya government it is upon yin enam bominonion.
They, however, called on the state government to revisit the area and help them have access to good roads.
With the rains coming in heavily, waterways need to be evacuated to make way for waters to flow through. Unfortunately, a lot of drainages have been blocked with people disposing sachet water nylons, PET bottles, and other materials that can't be decomposed into drainages, as well.
Kwaibo Church Secondary Commercial School, a community secondary school in Mia community, is one of the long-standing schools in Pateni local government area, founded in 1972. The institution has churned out successful Nigerians across the South-South region and beyond. Reports say that the institution was one of the best rated in the past, but for decades now, the glory of the school has been buried in the deplorable condition where it is today.
Things are not very fine in this school. I'm struggling left and right tooth and nail to make sure I correct one thing or the other. We are bordering out to repair the principal quarters under renovation at hand. We've been abandoned. Everything here, nothing. Mostly, especially this structure, have you seen that upstairs there, was built by the community via Kwaibo Church in 1973. As sovereign in this school, only 7 teachers in question. Other subjects are sovereign. The core subjects are sovereign, no teachers here. My humble appeal is now that government should be able to look into all this public school. Most of this is Mia own.
The indigents say that the state government was aware of the plight of the school and had promised to reposition the citadel of learning.
Government personalities over time is me, and visit, take photographs, and the government of Udomi Manuel is excellency. I get it take up. The commission computer lab here, 50 computers, sets more. You have up to 800 students in this school at all. You have about 7 teachers, 2 PTA staff. So, being your government, no teachers, you from where me. Teaching and non-teaching staff, from where me, do something to reckon with.
Another is the QIC Group School, a government-owned primary school still in Mia community, which also draws attendance from pupils across the 6 villages under Mia community.
This school is fed by about 4 villages. Ikora Devia Mia, Ikora Mia, Ikora Basim Mia, and Ikora Kaide Mia. Even most of the children have been coming from Ikora Bagop. I am appealing to the state government to look into the problems of this primary school, especially refurbishing the buildings and maintaining the school to a better standard, because the children are many. And teachers should be sent down to this school to take care of the children.
As the people remind government on the urgency for the rehabilitation of the schools, they also plead for more teachers to be sent to the schools to meet the learning demands with the growing.
All right, welcome back. It's still Rise and Shine, beaming from the beautiful hills of Ibiaku. And of course, we just came back from the news brief desk, of course, telling you some of the stories making it around the nation and outside the country as well. Back here on Rise and Shine, we're going to be having a conversation our guest is standing by already. Of course, recently we saw comments from the vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, and of course the governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa, saying that the Labour Party presidential flag bearer does not have the experience and capability to rule the country. Anyways, that's been causing a lot of uproar, especially in the camp of the Labour Party and for supporters of Peter Obi in particular, saying that that shouldn't have been said. And I know that in a couple of months now, there are so many people that have come up to talk about Peter Obi and the fact that he's not going to be able to rule Nigeria, or does not even have what it takes to rule the country. Anyways, joining us on the conversation this morning is Jesu. Let me get his name correctly now. Jesu Shegun Alagbe. He is a freelance journalist and also a researcher. Good morning, Jesu Shegun.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Okay, yes, we'll be having the conversation around Ifeanyi Okowa's recent statement to the flag bearer of the Labour Party. Of course, we've seen these statements come out, from different people. Different people have insinuated the fact that he's inexperienced and is incapable of leading Nigeria as a country. And I think it's quite bold for the vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party to have somewhat made this statement to the face in some kind of way. What are your thoughts about this comment?
Okay, yeah, so thank you very much again. I think, it's the political season, and definitely politicians, they are going to be throwing all sorts of shades against each other. That's for sure. I think we are just even starting. We are not there yet. I'm sure in the next few months now, we will really see how, babyish in quotes some of these politicians are. I want to compare it to what happened in 2008 in the US when Barack Obama was also running to be the president of the state. At that time too, Hillary Clinton, hope you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to compare, the statement to what Hillary Clinton and a Republican nominee, John McCain, made about Barack Obama in 2008. That time too, Obama was I think was the youngest candidate, of the Democrats to be running for the presidency. And, so the two candidates, that's Hillary Clinton and John McCain, they told voters that, no, don't vote this guy. He's too green, and he doesn't have the capacity to lead, a country as big as the US. So, but we all saw what happened eventually. We all saw what happened, that Barack Obama emerged the president of the United States. So I think sometimes these statements even kind of propel the people you perceive as green, to like brace up for the challenges ahead. So because the presidency is not really a position that is meant for political ancestors, so to speak. If you look at our case in Nigeria here, what has happened, since we have people who, okay, let's even say this current administration, President Buhari, he once led the country in the 1980s and now, but what has really changed for an average Nigerian? What has really changed for the country at large? So sometimes statements like that are just kind of egg-like, and they don't portend any meaning to what a candidate can do when he gets to power.
So are you trying to say that the comment is just a political gimmick? to, is that what you're trying to say, that it's more like a political gimmick to run down the presidential flag bearer of the Labour Party?
Exactly. Yes. Yes. That's what I'm trying to say. It really has nothing. Lacking political experience has nothing to do with your capacity. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So this man, he has an exciting alternative to what we have in the APC and the PDP. I'm not campaigning for any candidates, but I'm just stating the facts that in terms of the options we have right now, he is more exciting. He has the character, he has the charisma, he has some of the things that younger people are looking up to in the president of Nigeria. So of course, experience is good, it's good, but it can't determine and shouldn't determine who gets the seat eventually.
Okay, so but what do you think now? There's responses from the camp of the Labour Party. We are seeing a lot of, mostly the followers of the flag bearer Peter Obi. They're giving responses. Do you think that there is a tendency for the followership and even sometimes the committees that are heading the campaigns for these parties to get sidetracked and distracted by some of the comments, mostly jabs that are thrown out by other contenders for the seat of the presidency? Do you think there is a tendency for them to get sidetracked and of course lose a grip on what their pursuit is?
Yeah, it's actually one of the things I've observed about Peter Obi's followers who are called obedience. So they have this tendency to get distracted. Of course, don't let me use generalization. Some of them actually, they have the tendency to get distracted by statements from other political candidates. So I think they should just focus on their mission. They should focus on their game. They should focus on how to keep marketing their candidates without rubbishing other candidates. So they should, I think it's not everything you react to, which is what we've seen. State. So these people, they are online, they are majorly online, and they tend to attack or criticize anybody who talks something about their principles. So I think they should calm down and focus on campaigning and talking about real issues, even when other candidates are bringing up trash talk like, this candidate is not experienced, this candidate is this, is that. Let them focus on their campaign and strategies. It's not every columnist that you attack. It's not every candidate you attack. Just focus on the game, and the best candidates eventually will win.
Okay, so let's come back to the present administration and the person of President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, in 1984, when he was head of state at the time, there were a lot of, would I say, expectations, from him, because they saw him as somebody that was disciplined and was able to deal with issues like corruption. And in 2015, I think when he came back to contest as for the presidency of the country, those were some of the things, that made a lot of Nigerians want him as an exchange to President Goodluck Jonathan. Now, let's put that side by side with Peter Obi. Looking back at his antecedents as governor of Anambra State at the time, and a lot of his followers say that one of the things that he did was to leave some good chunk of money in the treasury of Anambra State. Aside from that, there were no visible infrastructural developments in Anambra State. Now, what makes us think that Peter Obi will actually have the capacity to rule the country, Nigeria?
Okay, yeah, thank you for that question. Yeah, so in terms of Peter's Obi capacity, I think I have no doubt that he can be a good president. He can make a great president. I'm not an obedient, and I'm not batified. I'm not articulated. You understand? But I also think that, of course, it's not by talk and talk alone. But from what we've seen so far, this candidate tends to understand the vision of Nigeria, it tends to know what's, of course, don't let me say it tends, the other candidates, they know what is wrong with the problems in Nigeria, but over the years, look at President Buhari too, who came to power promising change. Nothing has happened, nothing big has happened in the past 7 years or so. So, comparing the two, we have seen what this man can do, but we've not actually seen what this former governor can do. We've seen what Buhari is doing already, rather, and it's not exciting. It's not bringing prosperity to Nigerians. So Peter Obi, of course, it's still, nobody can say what will happen when if it gets there, actually, if it gets there, nobody can say what will happen. But I just think maybe the hope he brings on board has made him appeal to a lot of youths. But sincerely speaking, I too, I was having this discussion with somebody the other day that this man truly, what has really achieved, in even in Anambra State, what are those things that he achieved that we can say these are his legacy projects? And it's kind of tough, but it's just the kind of precarious situation we are in Nigeria. So personally too, I won't say, yeah, this candidate is the best per se, but just that it just brings some sort of hope and some exciting moments for Nigerians to look forward to. So, and about living, money in the purse of the state government that time, Anambra State. So all over the world, countries that have excelled, or prospered, it's not about saving and saving alone. You also have to pull in investments. You have to build things. I don't think any economy can run on just saving money, keeping money. That I left also chunk in the purse before I left. Now it is down to this. It's about what your successor has done with the money. So let's just wait and see and hope that the candidate that wins this presidential election will do the best for Nigerians.
Okay, so talking about excitement that seems to be on the front burner of things for the younger generation, because I mean, it looks like the younger generation seems to be the attention of the 2023 general elections. Do you say that the young people of Nigeria have what it takes to take, the bold step and the right decision towards voting whoever the right person is? Do you think we can go beyond our excitement and effectively evaluate the people that we have placed before us and take the right decision? The youth now.
Yeah, I think, okay. Yeah, so I think the youths, they can do whatever they want to do.
Are you there?
The youths are, yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm saying, yeah, the youths, they can actually create the kind of change they want in this country, Nigeria. And yes, just that my fear, or let me say my concern, not really a fear. My concern is that sometimes the youth get carried away by what's happening, and they forget even the main thing. So all this may just be about social media buzz, but when the period for election comes now, we'll see many of them being timid. Some will not even come out. But I think that one will change in 2023 based on what we've seen so far. Many youth have registered for their PVC. Even INEC confirmed it that they really got many youths registering for their PVC this time around.
We seem to be having a glitch with his sound.
It's not really about registering. Sorry?
Okay, you can continue. I think we're having a glitch with his sound.
Okay.
Yes, you can continue.
So, all right, okay. So like I said, it's not about excitement alone. You should translate that excitement into going to the polling booths and voting for your candidates. So because at the end of the day, like what has happened in previous elections, you will see people making a lot of noise, and on the day of election, they are nowhere to be found. And you see people that don't make the noise on social media. People, I don't want to be, but let me be specific. You see people, for instance, who will sometimes considered as not, many of them, majority of them are not literate, or you see some of these people, young people, old people coming out to vote. So the youth, they should not stop their campaign on social media and be carried away by the euphoria of Peter Obi's candidacy. They should also go out and vote their candidates.
Okay, so let's talk about the issue of structure. One of the topmost conversations they've had about the Labour Party and, whether or not they'll be able to push it through to the presidency is the fact that Labour Party is said to lack the structure necessary, to push for a win at the presidential election. What are your thoughts? Do you think that as a party they lack the structure? So far so good on the kinds of things that you have seen being pursued, even on the social media. Do you think that they're making progress with regards to raising structures that might actually help them to close in on the presidency in the general elections?
So personally, too, I think yeah, we may not agree, but in Nigeria, if you want to win the presidency, as of now, in the next maybe 5, 10 years, 20 years, things may change. But as it is now, I think you still need some kind of structures, where in states, you're contesting for the president of Nigeria. You need structures in virtually every state, every region of the country. You need people, you need structures apart from.
And please, I'd also like for you to break down what structure is. I also like for you to break down what structure is, because oftentimes the conversation is structure, structure, structure. But what exactly is being referred to as structure? What are these things that make up for a party having structure? Would like for you to break that down in the course of your conversation.
Okay, so part of the structure, for instance, is you have in probably senators, having members in the Senate, having your party members as reps in the House of Reps, having your party members as governors of states, having your party members as local government chairmen, councillors, all those things. Those are the things when we talk about structure, which of course we know that Labour Party doesn't really have some of these things we are talking about. If you go to the National Assembly, for instance, now, the National Assembly is dominated by the PDP and the APC, party members. So those are the things people look at when they talk about political structures. But I think that when a revolution wants to take place, structures will be dismantled. Just like we've seen in some countries where they can wake up when the citizens are tired of a particular president, no matter the kind of structure you have, they'll wake up one day and turn the whole thing upside down for you, and they'll kick you out of the government house. So, but in Nigeria, for now, I don't know whether we are there yet that a candidate without some of these things that I've mentioned can actually, become the president of the country. So why these people are important is because they help with community outreach. They help you with some of those local level politics. They know who to go to. They know the youth. They are conversant with the environment. It's kind of easier for them to appeal to the people in their community to vote for their candidates. You understand? Like an APC member, we have APC members all over the country, PDP too. Kind of easy for them to convince, but sometimes I think they confuse their people to vote for their candidates. But the obedient movement, if they can put in the work, I think they are putting in the work. I think it's not only social media. I think some of them are making moves to reach out to people offline too. So, which is kind of important. That's where the structure we are talking about. That's where it begins. You meeting people one-on-one. It's not only social media, organizing Twitter spaces. Go out there, community outreach. Go to a village. Talk to the people, and gradually you can build a structure. So
okay, let's still come back. Let's still talk about the structures thing. Obviously,
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is, if we really want to analyze this issue, the Labour Party does not have the structure on ground, to run an election in Nigeria as it stands. But I begin to wonder what the fear is actually, if the other parties know that the Labour Party does not have the structure to actually win an election. But there seems to be this underneath fear as to the Labour Party now. What do you think? What do you think is a major reason for this underneath fear? Because that's why we have people come out from different parties to want to talk down on the Labour Party. I also remember during the Osun governorship elections, the flag bearer for the APC presidential elections said that the Labour Party will labor and labor in vain. So why do you think that we still have some of these bickerings here and there against the Labour Party presidential candidate and the party itself, when they know fully well that the Labour Party does not have a structure on ground to win elections?
So, from what I've studied so far, they are afraid of the thought force, in quotes, the thought force. They know the mood of the country, they know the mood of the citizens, that people are tired of. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
So, okay. They understand the mood of the country right now. They understand the mood of the citizens. They know that people are tired of the PDP and the APC. People see them as just two sides of a coin. Like the APC is here, PDP is here. So they know that Nigerians are actually tired of them. And to what's saying the matter, they brought two candidates that, let me say, have been in the black book of some of the many youths. And that's APC Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, and then PDP Atiku Abubakar. So these candidates who are not, to many people, they are not exciting candidates. So I think it's even what caused this massive shift from APC and PDP to, by the youth actually, to Peter Obi. Yeah, because the Labour Party seems to bring the kind of person or the kind of personality people want to see in the government.
So we're having issues with your audio actually. I don't know if that can be worked on.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, great. I can hear you.
Okay, so as I was saying, that they know that people are tired of them, and that this candidate, Peter Obi, seems to be a fresh person, so to speak, in this game. People have known, they've been hearing the name Asiwaju Bola Tinubu for a long time. Many youths, they believe he's too old for the job.
Just a second, I seem not to want to agree with you. Peter Obi is not a new name in the game. He's been in ABGA, where he contested as the governor of Anambra State under the platform of the ABGA party. And then after that, he moved to the PDP. He's a member of, or rather, he was a member of the PDP, People's Democratic Party.
And vying as vice presidential candidate
at the time, yes, with Atiku at the time. So he's not new in the game. And so I'm wondering why people are even trying to tilt towards him, come for the presidency elections.
I think because maybe it's the first time, so to speak, that is contesting the presidential election. And also probably because he's younger than the other two. And also, he has the kind of charisma that people they don't see in the other two candidates. There are a lot of factors as youth. And, like I said, I'm not an obedient, I'm not articulated, I'm not batified. But it's just what people are saying, you can, but I think I've done some little research. I've interviewed people, younger people who are these members of the obedient movement. And it's just that this man, yes, it's not new like in the political scene. But when you talk about presidency, and the people, as they don't want grandpas, they are saying they don't want people with baggage of corruption on their neck. Fine, not like Peter Obi is 100% clean, but
the argument is that he's a very frugal person.
But yeah, that's the argument, that he won't be a wasteful person. He won't allow corruption to thrive in his government. But yeah, tackling corruption is very important. But being frugal, yeah, don't be wasteful. But we also need somebody who, and you understand the economy from what he has said so far. Not like the other two candidates don't understand the economy. But I think maybe because he can he can communicate his vision and strategies better than the other two. Just like the US election, when Barack Obama with his eloquence just came and swings voters to his favor. I just think that's what's happening in Nigeria right now. Peter Obi may not even be the best candidate we have. We have how many parties? We have other parties too that have people who have. I was studying the list I think some days back. You see candidates also with some nice background, nice career, who are also coming on board, but from other parties. So, but I think Peter Obi has the charisma to sway people, a lot of people.
Okay, so we have a question, right? We know that currently something that is bedeviling the country is insecurity. And what bothers most people is not even necessarily the economy. If we do not have a safe place to do our businesses, we cannot be talking of a thriving economy. Do you think that Peter Obi has what it takes to bring, to level up insecurity in Nigeria?
Okay, that question, yeah. From looking at it from the surface, peripheral level, he may not have this. I don't know, but he may. Like what I was thinking is this: that yes, this man may not have the experience, may not have this and that to tackle insecurity in the country, but he can actually. Oh, can you hear me, please?
Yes, please, we can.
Absolutely.
Hello?
Absolutely. We can
hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, so I was thinking about this the other day, and I feel like this some people understand what is happening in the country, deeper than maybe Peter Obi. Someone like, I'm not campaigning for him, but someone like Atiku Abubakar may actually, and when we talk about insurgency, insecurity, it springs mainly from the northern part of the country, and we have someone like Atiku Abubakar who may have a grasp of what is going on there. But of course, that's just where it ends. The fact that he knows or he knows what's happening, that fact doesn't mean that he's going to do anything about it or he's going to do anything better than President Buhari, a former military general that in 2000 and I think 2014 or so, when President Olusegun Obasanjo was talking about him, he said, yeah, that Buhari may not be sound on economy, policy, foreign policy, other things, but in terms of security, this man will do well because he knows him very well in terms. But look at what is happening. So Peter Obi may come to the game, bring people who know about this problem, and he can use technology to fight this insecurity. I think it's about willpower too. The other day, a BBC journalist went and shoot a documentary, went to meet some of these people terrorizing the country. But these are the people that the security agencies we claim that they don't know where they are. But because something else is happening. But if Peter Obi may come in and he may be able to tackle it, who knows? So it's not about having military background, so to speak. So
because
it's technology
I also wanted
and the
to
right
add,
council.
I also wanted to add when you said that Atiku could possibly, handle the situation, and I was wondering, Labour Party has a vice presidential candidate in the person of Ahmed Dati. Don't you think that he could also handle the situation of insecurity in northern Nigeria?
Okay, so he too should know what is happening and how to go about it. Is a northerner. He will know one or two things going on there. Okay. But like I said, even if he doesn't know, these people, if they come on board, if they win the presidential election, they can bring in the right experts, people that can advise them, and then with technology, they can fight this thing. And I don't know. We are talking about terrorists living in the jungle, not like we don't have things or technologies that can fish them out from their jungles, and the rest. So it's just about the willpower. It's not about having the experience, so to speak. We have seen where the person who has military experience, we have seen where, he has brought us to. So I kind of agree with you that yes, it's not about knowing what is happening. It's about, doing what it takes to end a problem.
Okay, such great conversation there that we're having. We're looking at some of the statements that have been made by, contenders for the seat of the presidency, and other conversations that have been held, that are holding sway nationwide over the Labour Party's, ray of hope and revolution for the general elections come 2023. And of course, our guest has been doing quite a lot, exposing, some of the But here's a question that I'd like to ask. Let's talk about the coming general elections now. With the things that you currently see on ground, the revolutions that is brewing, the changes that we've seen, some of the trajectory that we saw change with regards to the Osun State elections, some of the groundworks that are changing. What are your hopes? What's the handwriting on the wall that you see towards the general election? Is it going to be business as usual, or Nigerians should expect a surprise?
I don't know whether to. I just know that some things will change. Maybe in terms of we will have more people coming out to express their civic duty and their civic rights to vote on the day. But my fear also, I have some fears too. And number one is INEC too. We have huge. I think they confirmed that they have more number of people registering than before. So, but now the question is, do they have the capacity to allow everybody to vote on the day of election? Like we've seen in some past elections that maybe at a polling booth, a polling unit, the card reader is not working, voters queue for long hours, ad hoc workers coming late, arriving late, and the rest. So those are the things that are my fears actually, that INEC too, they should brace up actually, and not make Nigerians' efforts to be, fruitless on the day of election. Let them be able to exercise their civic duty. Number two, fear. So INEC, if any INEC officials listening right now, I think they should try and speed up things too. Election is near the is around us, and they should wake up right now. Number two, fear is my fear, which of course that's where our security agencies come in. Looking at the movements, what we've seen about the third force emergence of Peter Obi and the rest. I'm not saying to rubbish the other candidates or so, but we know that in Nigeria too, we've not been able to totally detach violence from our elections. We see some of these candidates, they have people that are ready to do the dirty work for them. People that can carry cutlass, can carry gun on the day of elections, and scaring the young people away. It's also possible. So those are my fears, and I think the security agencies should be, well alive to their duty on the day.
Okay, so I think as part of that question that was asked, we see a lot of young people being interested in the political process or the process of governance this few days. Do you think that, we'll see a lot more voter involvement than voter apathy on the parts of Nigerians?
Yes, definitely we will see. we will see lots of, we will see improved voter involvement in the next elections. From what we've seen so far, if all this noise doesn't translate to nothing, if it actually means something, I think the youth will come out in mass in 2023 to vote. In mass.
Okay, so let me just say this very quickly, because we see a lot of young people, on social media talking about the elections. We've seen a lot of sensitization. People individually go out to sensitize people on the need to get their PVCs. We've seen churches where, the pastors are saying that encouraging the members to get their PVCs. But it is also very surprising that even from the statistics of INEC, we see that majority of those that are even registered and have their PVCs are from northern Nigeria and not even southwest or even south-south.
Yeah, I think that's bound to happen.
And then with that, what would be the hope of a Peter Obi versus the number of people in the south, the northwest and north central, up north that have registered versus the people in the south and southwest? You just tally all of that together.
Okay, so let's not also forget that some of this obedience to they are penetrating the north. Of course, not like it's something that is very significant right now. But we are seeing it on social media that they are kind of penetrating the north. Some of these northern youth, they are tired of the APC, they are tired of the PDP. The other day I was watching somebody who was, one of the released captives, the Abuja train, the Abuja Kaduna incident, and the man said, President Buhari has failed. Someone like that, you should be sure that and his family members, his friends, you should be sure that they won't want to vote for APC or PDP in the next election. So some of these people too, I think they are becoming obedient. Of course, but looking at the numbers, they have the largest number of voter registration, which is something that is kind of apparent because they have the largest population in Nigeria. So it will definitely be so. And we know right from time, the Northerners, they've always been involved in the political process. We'll see, like I mentioned earlier on the show, we'll see young people, of course, some of them underage, which is what INEC should do something about it. They will come out to vote, so. But I think there's improvement. And also, if Peter Obi or somebody from the south can penetrate that, those Northerners, things may change. We may see a change in 2023.
Okay, thank you so much. It's been a great conversation with you this morning, Jesu Shegun Alagbe, who is a journalist and a researcher, of things in Nigeria. Thank you so much for giving us your time this morning on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye from us.
Bye.
So, yeah, thank you very much. So, quite interesting conversation there. But like he said, Peter Obi more like has a charisma. And what some people have said about the charisma of Peter Obi, they say that, look, a charismatic leader who can actually romance the emotions of young people might not necessarily have what it takes to lead the country. And then again, still talking about some of the things that he did in Anambra State, which his obedient people are using to put on the front burner, like this is what he did, and so he needs to be the president. His frugality and the fact that he was a public officer that would book his flights by himself and then push his a bag and trolley to the airports by himself, and all of that, and also that he also cut down on the number of vehicles in his entourage. So all of that now shows that, okay, so he's somebody that can actually manage the resources of the country. But I think it just goes way beyond being frugal in spending or trying to cut down on some excesses. It's gone beyond that when you talk about the leadership of this country, Nigeria.
I think frugality actually does go a long way when you talk about Nigeria, because even in recent times, Zainab Ahmed has come out to say that the country is broke. And part of the solutions that she preferred for us to be able to move forward is if the country cuts down on excessive expenditure with regards to certain things that we're using to fund lifestyles that can be abated, right? So if we have someone who comes in and cuts down on the amount spent on buying the cars that runs the presidency or runs every governor's fleet, the money that is voted for the maintenance of all of those things, money is voted for them to eat. It might not be a lot, but it's a good step in the right direction. If we know that all of our money is not going to be spent on, living the life of the president or the governor, it's going to help. And now like one thing just Sushegun rightly said, it goes beyond the singular personality of who is coming into the seat of leadership and covers the cabinet members. Whoever, let's use an example, the Labour Party, for instance, or even if it's the APC, whoever makes up your cabinet equates the kind of success you're going to pull out at the end of the day. So I think these are some of the conversations. As they campaign already, they should be able to look out for people who can man this, who can be at the helms of affairs here. So that when we bring all this intelligence together, you can know whether you're going to have a successful obedient regime or a successful BAT regime.
Okay, so let me take you up on the frugal part of Peter Obi again. Now, if you go back to his history as governor in Anambra State, it is said that there's nothing on ground. Talking about maybe like structures on ground in Anambra State today that you can point out and say that this is what Peter Obi did. So there's nothing outliving him. So what kind of leadership quality?
Did he leave enough money for the next person to come have something to work to raise infrastructure?
Money, but what's also the possibility that the person that took over, that's Willie Obiano now, that he actually used that money for the purpose of serving the people of Anambra State?
Now you can't put that burden on Peter Obi.
I cannot put
the burden of the use on.
But the point is, why did he rather save this monies and not use it to build Anambra State?
Well, he's an economist for one. That's what we're saying. The same thing. At the end of the day,
when he saves
the money of Nigeria, the people that will help us implement and invest it in the right places will be there.
It makes no sense when you save the money for the next person to be fraudulent about it or
no, we're not. In this case, now we're not saying the next person. We are hoping that there will be great minds in his cabinet that can help him invest the money in the right place. But we need someone to save up. One of the problems that we are having is inflation. In the Nigerian economy. Although we are saying Nigeria is broke, we still have too much money in circulation in our economy. We do actually need a frugal person at this point. If we have experienced 7 years of abundance, we're talking about like the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan season, and then we came to the Buhari administration that we do not understand what is happening with our economy. We need someone who's different towards economy too.
I think also having a frugal leader, that the educational system will not be viable, the medical system as well will not be viable, then we don't need that kind of frugality.
Well, let's see. At the end of the day, we just need to give whoever deserves the opportunity a chance. Let them prove Nigerians right or wrong. Whether it's BAT, whether it's articulated, whether it's obedient, whoever gets to the seat, let them prove Nigerians right or wrong.
I think that's even where I am going to. Because when you say that, oh, this person is too old, or this person was one time this and did not function in that capacity, and so because of that, let's go over to somebody else that is younger or somebody else that is frugal, I think it doesn't make any sense to me.
Nigerians have seen the antecedents.
No, the point is, it's not different. We've always talked about the fact that politicians, because of their interests, personal interest, not a general
interest. What is Peter Obi's personal interest?
No, chill. He was in PDP. So why did he leave? Because he knew that the ticket was not going to be given to him. And so he left and went to the Labour Party. Okay, supposing the ticket was given to him at the People's Democratic Party, what would have been the story? So these people are one and the same kind of people, if you ask me. It's just a change of nomenclature from People's Democratic Party to the Labour Party. There's nothing different.
Well, maybe Nigerians want to try it a new kind of nomenclature. So I mean, it's in the power of it's in the hand of Nigeria.
So it doesn't make any meaning trying a new nomenclature when we are not seeing dividends.
And then it's a simple thing. If we have been going this particular direction for years, we have we have used this particular 1+1. It has given us the same result.
Oh, yeah, I am
for how
forced
many years?
to ask you, are you an
1990
obedient?
now. I'm not an obedient.
Great.
You can't ask me that kind of question on air. You can't do that. But at the end of the day, from 1999 to this time, we have used the same democratic calculation, and we have seen the result it has given us. If Nigerians say they want to try a new formula, by all means, Nigerians, try a new formula. And whatever that formula is for you, I mean, Nigerians, go for it.
Okay, so somebody like BAT can be a new formula. Somebody like Articulated can be a new formula.
BAT is a new formula. BAT is coming up with Muslim tickets. It's a new, it's a new formula.
No,
so Nigerians will just choose what they want to go with.
The argument about the Muslim ticket, let's take it back to Osun State. They have a Christian ticket. Okay? And nobody seems to see a problem with that.
Because that's not the federal government. That's the state.
No. It can, materialize to
it won't bring as much problem because Osun is primarily a Christian-dominated state. You're not talking about the federal government where you have the nation cut into two halves between Muslims and Christians.
Anyways, talking about that or leaning on that particular conversation, I think there was a video I saw day before yesterday where the national chairman of the All Progressives Party Congress went to a church. And we heard him. Of course, we know that Abdullahi Adamu is a core Muslim man, and he was in church saying, praise the Lord, hallelujah. And that actually brewed a lot of controversies, people talking. And I know a lot of people that also made mention of the fact that how dare he go into a church with his cap on, and the fact that a lot of churches are being compromised along those lines. But
we are just leaving the main things. As far as I'm concerned with these kinds of conversations, we are leaving the main things. We are getting sidetracked and distracted by who's going to church, by who's going to a mosque. All we need is a change in this nation. Whoever is wearing a cap to church should wear. Whoever is removing his hat should wear. We're just leaving the main
After all, we saw Gospel Akpabio in the mosque some years ago.
I mean, at the end of the day, we are talking politics. So anything that they are going to do to drive their points home, it's part of the game. It's mathematics. It's numbers. So whoever wants to go to church should go. Who is going to mosque should go. At the end of the day, we made the best man win. We want who can, Justice Shekun just made a statement. It might not even be a case of Peter Obi being a better version, right? But this man, he's able to articulate his dreams and vision for the country better than anyone else is doing. The other people are spending their energy trying to dig up dirt on one another. But this person is saying, this is the problem of a country, and these are the things we think we can do differently. I mean, he rightly stated that's how Barack Obama won his election. So if that is what this other person is using as an advantage, you can't sway them for it.
No, we're not swaying them, but like you said, let the best man win at this point in time. And more like what Nigerians want is a change, a total overhaul of the economy of the country in terms of insecurity and all the things that, are blighting this country. But when you say that, the obedience are saying exactly what they are going to do, more like selling their manifestos to a lot of Nigerians. Great idea. I think that's what they're trying to do in breaking that stereotype of not even having a structure. But let's go beyond that. We saw Buhari do that in 2015 before he came, as president of Nigeria, and nothing seemed to change. Instead, the situation gets even worse every day. So let's try to strike a balance and bring somebody that we know that at the end of the day will give us a better Nigeria, and that Nigeria of our dream. That's what every Nigerian wants right now. Okay, so enough said. Let's go over now to our tidbit segment. Of course, that's one place that we get to let you know what you do not know. Okay, we'll start with Did You Know segment. I think that's a great revelation.
One will always have to have bread in the house then.
Anytime you want to cut your onions, and you know that you get teary, but there are people that cut onion and then get teary.
Oh, wow, that's odd.
Yeah, they are. But for those of us that get teary, even before, peeling the shelves of the onions, we can have bread by the corner.
Bread, a solution. I'm going to share this particular dinner. Every mama in the kitchen needs that information.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take our health tip for this morning.
Yeah, great one there.
Gratitude.
Yeah, gratitude. It's very important. No matter how little somebody does something for you, be nice enough and courteous enough to say, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah.
And of course, we know what thank you does. It makes the person want to do more next time. So next time you can actually come to someone and say, "Oh, please do this thing for me," or "Do that thing for me."
And the fact that it actually lightens your mood,
course,
being thankful and being full of gratitude has an effect on you as a person, not just on the person you're showing thanks. I know one time I had someone teach me that even when you make use of people's services that you're even paying them for, say you use a cab or whatever kind of service, always learn to say thank you. It's been a couple of years and I've learned to say thank you for every service I have been rendered, whether it's a cab or anything, and the feeling is good.
I do that
and
a lot.
Sometimes people just turn around and look at you. Why are you thanking
Why are you
me for?
thanking? Yeah, especially when you thank a cabman for even dropping you off or something,
it's a good
or
one.
the janitor for opening the door for you. You say
It's a
thank
great
you.
one.
It's a good one.
Good one. Our recipe of the day. Let's see what we'll be having for lunch.
Breakfast.
Lunch.
Let's take. If you want to have some chocolatey and banana goodness, of course, you have that to try. A chocolate and banana bread.
Chocolate and banana
Yummy.
bread. The mixture sounds so savory.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking of it and it's having an effect on my tongue. Like, beautiful, nice try. I wonder where I can get that in Uyo.
Yeah,
you know where I can find one.
Ifeanyi is always knowing where to get things like that, so he'll help you out on that one.
I will need one. Okay,
Let's take our quote of the day while we wrap up the show this morning. Take responsibility of your own happiness. Never put it in other people's hands. Great one there. Roy T. Burnett. Take responsibility of your own happiness and never put it in other people's hands.
Yeah, no need to put your happiness in another person's hands. You need to be responsible for your happiness. So the way people act, the way people feel should not determine how you feel or the way you act. Regulate your own atmosphere, pretty much. That's what this is. It's been a really full show, and of course you are educated, you're highly informed, and that's what we do on Rise and Shine. And we want to really appreciate you for choosing Rise and Shine. We appreciate you for choosing Spectrum Television. We'll do this again tomorrow. I remain Uyai Aniek, thanks for joining us.
Definitely. Let's do this again tomorrow. Thank you for always letting us into your spaces every morning from wherever you're watching us from, on YouTube, on Facebook. Continue to follow the family and the conversation. My name is Janice Cobham. Do have a great day.
Government, Secretary General.